my name is Dak. This is a little bit about my testimony. So I grew up in Montana. I grew up in a Christian home like a lot of Americans. But also like a lot of Americans, I grew up as a Christian, but I really didn't have a relationship with the Lord. I was one of the biggest two-faced people ever. I was the kind of person that just said I was a Christian, like, oh, Jesus, yeah, but then I absolutely lived in sin. I was the kind of guy that I would go and I'd party on Saturday night and show up hungover on Sunday morning at playing on the worship team. I was a musician at the church. And so I was involved, but my life was not living like it at all. But at the same time, I knew I was called into ministry. I started having that feel towards maybe like freshman year in high school. I started having that feel to go into ministry, but I was so empty, not living for the Lord. So I ended up going to school in Alabama, ministry school over there. And showed up, just drinking, partying, doing all that kind of stuff. And I felt so empty, like there's got to be more than this. I had this thought, this lie I was believing, that the most fun that I could ever have in college and have the best college experience was going to frat parties and partying and drinking and doing all this kind of stuff, hooking up with girls, all these kind of things that I thought that was going to be the best time that I could have. Ended up getting caught with alcohol from my school, almost got kicked out of the ministry school. And I had everybody under the sun coming up like, hey man, you got to get your life together. What are you doing? And I knew I needed to, but for about 2 years I cried, okay, God, like I believe in you. I don't want to live this kind of life, but I need your help. Like, what on earth am I going to do? I literally had the desire only to drink and smoke. I didn't have the desire to go and live a holy life. Like, it just seemed so boring to me. And so I cried out for 2 years, God, please help me just get rid of these addictions to substance abuse, and I'll live for you. And I prayed that defining prayer in December 2018. I said, okay, God, again, I want to live for you, but you got to heal me of this. You got to get rid of this. And so I realized after I prayed that prayer, defining time, about a week later, I had absolutely no desire to drink or to smoke again. Like, literally disappeared, which was an absolute miracle because I couldn't get rid of it for a few years. And so then I was like, okay, I'm going to start living for you. And so I would go out in my car and I would spend maybe an hour in worship, which was a big deal. My school said, oh, you spend 10, 15 minutes a day in prayer and worship, reading the Bible, you're on the right track. And so I just had this random urge, you know what, I'm gonna go spend an hour in worship in my car. It wasn't an easy thing to do, it wasn't fun. And I started getting like this tingling in my hands at first, and I was like, this is weird. When I was raising my hands, I thought my arms were going to sleep, so I put my hands down. And I was like, this is weird, like everything's going through my mind. I'm like, do I got a disease? What's going on? Is there something wrong with my arms? And every time I would go out to worship, this kept happening, and it began intensifying. Before I even know it, my entire body I felt like a lightning bolt. Like my whole body was tingling on fire. I was sweating, dripping sweat. I couldn't move because of the presence of the Lord came over me so strong, and I knew, okay, this is the God I want to serve. I had an encounter with him. It says in James 4:8 of the Bible, if you draw near to God, he will draw near to you. It's a promise. Same thing, Proverbs 18:17. If you diligently seek him, you're going to find him. For all my life of being a Christian, I never sought after the Lord. I never had powerful encounters with him. There was one time at a Christian camp years ago in like the 8th grade. I cried out under his presence, and that was it. But now, every day, I'm going after the Lord, and I realize the funnest life I can have is not a life of party, not a life of drinking, smoking, those kind of things, chasing after girls and the riches of the world. The funnest life I possibly can have is serving the Lord. And it may seem kind of like far-fetched, like really? A lot of people are like, is that really the life you want to live? And I promise with all that's within me, because I've experienced both lives, the best life you can ever have is living for Jesus with all you are, living a surrender life. It says in the Word, when you let go of your life and surrender to God, that's when you find life to the full. And I've discovered that. I found that. And so after I started spending time with the Lord in the secret place, I just randomly got this urge, I'm going to go out and I'm going to share Jesus with people. And so I seen some of Todd White's videos, a little bit of YouTube videos, so I went out on the streets. I started praying for people. If I seen somebody limping or whatever, 10th person that I went to pray for healing, it was a guy I walked by. He had hearing aids, and I walked by him, I seen the hearing aids, and I was like, I'm not going to pray for this dude. So I kept walking by, but I felt such a strong urge. I went back past him again. I'm like, no, no. Went back again. This dude probably thought I was the weirdest guy. Walked by him again to go and pray for him, and I was like, I'm not going to do it. And I stopped and I heard the Lord say so strongly, why do you doubt me? So I was like, okay, I'm going to go. I'm going to give it a try. I went up and asked him. He said, sure. I pray for his ears for healing. He takes out his hearing aids, and I'm snapping in his ears, and his face lights up. He's like, my ears were supposed to be numb, and I can hear now, totally healed. And from then on, I've seen countless miracle after miracle after miracle, and it's been the funnest time of my life. I wouldn't want my life to be any different. I wouldn't ask for anything better. Jesus, he's the best thing that's ever happened to me, hands down. And so biggest thing I can do is just say, if you're going through any of that where you feel like Jesus isn't the funnest thing, he's not going to church isn't the funnest thing, living for him isn't the best option you can ever have, I just want to pray for you. Father, I just thank you for anybody that may be listening to this. I lift them up, and I just speak, if there's anybody who's struggling with the desire to drink, to smoke, have sexual relations outside of marriage, to do anything that's not in your name, I just speak freedom over their lives. Father, I thank you that as you set me free, you can do the same for anybody listening. And God, I ask that you show them the power of living a surrendered life and the power of going after you with all that they are. Father, bless them. I pray for favor over their lives. And I ask you to show them how amazing you are, and you're all they need. Bless them in Jesus' name.